Is it possible to recover from the loss and tragedy that we've had and experienced over the past 2 years? Find out on this next podcast of Digest This.
Welcome to Digest This, the show that helps you revolutionize your digestive health. Here are your hosts, Dr. Liz Cruz and Tina Nunziato.
Hello, and welcome to Digest This. I'm Dr. Liz Cruz, and I've got Tina Nunziato sitting right here by my side. Thank you so much for joining us for another podcast. Yes, I said another podcast. So if you are a first-time listener, welcome, and we love that you have taken the time to find us and to listen to us. We have a few hundred podcasts in our library because we've been podcasting for a few years now. So please go back and check out some of our previous podcasts. The material, what we talk about is all relevant to today. And if you are a regular listener, we thank you for taking the time to continue to listen to us and be on this journey with us. We're so grateful for each and every one of you. And we're just excited and very passionate about what we do. And for those of you that may not know, Tina and I started putting these podcasts on YouTube about, I don't know,
it was right
just in the past year.
Yeah, like right before we stopped last year, we would put up a few already. So these are on YouTube as well. If you want to see our beautiful shiny faces instead of just listening to us, you could do both. You could listen or you could watch us on YouTube. So you just go to the drlizcruz.com YouTube page and find those podcasts.
That's right. That's right. So thank you again for joining us. So what do you think, Tina? Is it possible for us to recover from the tragedy, the loss, the sadness that we've all endured over the past 2 years? For those of us that are still here, there's been a lot. We're coming on almost 2 years because it was March of 2020 when we went into an official quarantine.
I think some people don't even remember 2020.
I know.
Literally, like the kids were telling me, they're like, I don't even remember what happened in 2020. I was like, well, you were doing homeschool and, oh yeah, I don't want to remember that.
Oh, yeah, it's true.
Now that we're in 2022, they're like, what happened to 2020 and 2021?
I know, 2021 just kind of slipped by because I think in 2021, we thought that we were going to be done with COVID and actually it got worse. Yeah, it got worse.
Yeah, and I was just listening. So to answer your question, I mean, yes, I think we'll recover, but it's going to take time, right? I mean, we've been in this for 2 years. I was just listening to a podcast recently where a bunch of psychologists were talking, and they were saying how the body and brain were not meant to withstand what we've been through for as long as we've been through it, right? So there's a lot of issues out there, a lot of mental health issues going on. I mean, people know this. They've been talking about it for a while.
Right.
But mental health issues lead to medical issues, you know? And so doctors' offices are filled with people who are struggling, and whether it's pain or addiction or, they need to see somebody for a specific medical issue, heart issues, GI issues.
Well, we've seen it in our office. I mean, we've seen, people are coming in with symptoms that they say that just started in the past 2 years. Some of them have had COVID and say, these things started after I had COVID. Some of them that haven't had COVID that are coming in and saying, I was fine before COVID. And
some people that got the vaccine.
The vaccine,
and now
absolutely.
are coming in saying they've got these issues and they're blaming the vaccine, and it's like, we don't know, there's just not enough research behind the vaccine to know. And honestly, like the government and the vaccine manufacturers are never going to admit, if there's these side effects. So
absolutely.
We just have to tell them, like, look, we can only do what we can do and work you up and things like that. But yeah, it's been a very stressful period of time for people. There's been a lot of loss. I mean, not just losing family members and friends, but loss of jobs and income and loss of our homes and loss of relationships, with hanging out with people, that social aspect, that loss. So it's been a lot for people to deal with. And I think it's going to take us a while to unwind
absolutely
from that and come out of it.
Absolutely. I have psychiatrists and psychologist friends who have told me that they have never been as busy in their careers as they have been over the past 2 years. I mean, people can't even get an appointment with a counselor. I mean, they're booking out, months in advance.
Yeah.
And, so there's so much stress and so much, stress, anxiety. I mean, the children are feeling it. I mean, Tina just had a parent-teacher conference last week for our kids.
The teachers were saying that this has been the hardest 2 years they've ever had to teach, because it's not just teaching that they're doing. They're dealing with a lot of mental health issues. And you think about, the stress that parents are in, right? As adults, right? We're all under a lot of stress. And that stress is only going to roll downhill, right, to the kids. And so the kids are dealing with these issues too that we've never seen before, and so the teachers are just like, they're like beside themselves. Like they don't even know what to do anymore. I mean, it really is amazing, just the amount of pressure and stress that has come from this, and just the repercussions of it.
Right. So it is going to take time. Yes, we will recover. Will we get back to normalization? I mean, what is normal, right? What is normal at this point? I think that we've had such major change in our lives over the past 2 years that it may not get back to what it was before. It may be a totally new normal that we're setting. And it's going to take time, because in a way we've all been traumatized by everything that's happened. I mean, many of us have had a personal loved one who died. I mean, for us, it's my mom and grandma who died like within 48 hours of each other, just this past August. I mean, and if it's not a close family member that people have lost, a friend or a loved one of a close friend of theirs, or,
I'm pretty sure everybody knows.
Yeah, now we've all experienced, for the most part, I would have to say that probably we've all experienced the loss, the trauma, the emotional trauma that comes from the loss of human life, not to mention the loss of so many other things like Tina was mentioning. And so it's going to take time. It's going to take time to recover. And so, we have to do what we can to take care of ourselves.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I mean, you have to have hope, right? You have to have hope that, we're already starting to see it. I'm hoping that it slows down,
yeah,
it stays
absolutely.
that way. I've noticed less people wearing masks. I think more people, now that more people are vaccinated, they feel more comfortable going out, socializing with friends. And
mandates are
again.
being dropped.
Yeah, people
in some
are traveling
places
again.
Yeah.
So I just think, it will get back
to
where it was. I think it's going to take time. But in terms of us personally, I think we have to just be patient with ourselves and give ourselves time to recover, and just know that it will be better, right? Just the idea of hope that it will be better can do so much for your heart and your brain and your soul and your body in general, in terms of feeling good.
Absolutely.
The energy that you have.
Absolutely. So for us, Tina and I do quite a bit as far as self-care. If you go back and listen to some of our podcasts from last year, from 2021, we did a whole series on self-care that we've been doing, that the journey that we started on. We have a little infrared sauna unit that we got that we use. We try to, work out regularly. I'm doing yoga 2-3 times a week. Tina does Kung Fu and Tai Chi. But it doesn't have to be anything fancy. I mean, look, it could be as simple as just getting out there and walking around the block and getting some fresh air.
Yeah, during that first year of COVID, when we were all quarantined, we spent a lot of time outside.
We did, a lot.
And we spent a lot of time just in the backyard, riding bikes around the neighborhood, just going for walks, just being out in nature can be so healing, getting out of the house. So even now, it's important, if you still feel cooped up, if you're still dealing with stress and anxiety and depression, get outside. Just go for a walk. Try to be out in nature, be in the sun,
Yes.
our natural
Yes.
energy, our natural light bulb, right? So it gives us energy, be exposed to the sun, let that sun feed you, and just to try to help calm you,
That's right.
Deep breathing exercises are great for that as well, and calming the body.
And there are all sorts of apps out there now and programs that you can, download for calming down your stress. And I do a lot of tapping. That's something that has helped me a lot. And if that's something that you're interested in, please, reach out to us and we can share with you what I'm doing. And I have an app that I do it on, and I do it while I'm driving to work. I'm doing it while I'm driving to work, and they're short, 10 minutes, 15 minutes. And it's just helped so much for me. That's something that has helped. And that's the thing, that things will all affect us differently. So there's things that Tina does that I may not be doing that help her. And there's things that I do. There's so much out there. Read a good book. Read a book and
just for fun.
Just for fun.
It doesn't have to be anything where you're learning.
Yeah,
anything.
just a good fantasy story or mystery.
Get a good fiction book.
That's
and just
right.
Lose yourself in the book for a little while, right? Like, get out of reality.
That's right. That's right.
It really helps. I was watching comedy for a while.
That's what Tina was doing. Yeah.
I just, I like stand-up comedy, but we don't go to see very many stand-up comics. But during COVID, I told Liz, I was like, I need to laugh. And so I started finding stand-up comedy on Netflix and whatever, and I started watching stand-up comedy because it made me laugh. It made me, get out of my head, and those are the things we need. We need to kind of get away.
That's right.
A little every once in a while.
Got to do a little mental escape.
That's right.
A little mental escape. Meditation, and I know when I say meditation, a lot of people are like, well, what am I going to do? It doesn't have to be that. It can be just find a little corner in your house where that's like your sacred space, and where you just spend 10, 15 minutes just quieting your mind, and you can read something, or you can just close your eyes and just think about, go to like a happy place for like 10 minutes, just quiet your mind, get away from all the noise, because we're always surrounded by so much noise. And I'm not talking about literally sounds, but just our minds are going, are going crazy because we've got to do this, we got to do that, we got to, and another thing is get it out of your mind, write it on a to-do list. That way it's not sitting on your mind. And then when you forget it, you're stressed out because you don't remember what it was that you had to do. Get it down on a piece of paper. And, take care of yourself. Drink a lot of water. Take your vitamin D. Even if you live in Arizona or in a sunny place, most of us still have low vitamin D levels because we spend so much time inside, and try to eat as healthy as possible. Greens, a lot of greens, and cut down on your intake of processed food, junk food,
and sugar,
and caffeine.
All the triggers, right?
That's right. It's actually pretty simple.
Yeah.
It's just that it's hard to do.
Yeah.
I mean, it's hard to do.
Do one thing at a time.
That's right.
One thing at a time. Just try to cut down. Do things in moderation, but try to pick up other good habits as you're releasing other habits. Right?
That's right.
Yeah.
And you know what? Sometimes we fall back into an old habit that we know is not the best for us. It's okay. Don't be hard on yourself. And
every day is a new day.
Every day is a new day, and you will falter. You will fall down. Just get up and pick back up and keep moving forward. Okay? What do you think, Tina?
No, I think that's great. Yeah.
All right. Anyways, we will get through this, and we will get through it. We're all together in this, and I actually am very optimistic. Like, I don't know, personally, I feel like I'm seeing the light at the end of the tunnel. So,
I agree.
Yeah, I think I see a light, and it's getting brighter and brighter every day. Thank you so much for joining us, and we will catch you on the next podcast.
Thank you for joining Dr. Liz Cruz and Tina Nunziato. To learn more about their revolutionary products and services, go online to www.drlizcruz.com.